Alright, gamers and power users, ever heard of CrowdStrike? It's a name you should know if you're serious about keeping your computer safe. It's like having a bodyguard for your computer, protecting you from nasty viruses, malware, and all sorts of cyber threats that lurk in the digital world. But sometimes this bodyguard can get a little overzealous and accidentally trip over its own feet, causing the dreaded blue screen of death, or BSOD. This can be incredibly frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of something important. Now, a BSOD is like your computer throwing a tantrum. It's a dramatic way of saying something has gone terribly wrong. It's basically Windows freaking out and hitting the emergency stop button. Imagine your computer just saying, "Nope, I'm done," and shutting down. And when CrowdStrike's involved, it usually means something's gone wonky with its drivers or software. This can happen due to updates, conflicts with other software, or even just a random glitch. But don't worry, we're gonna fix this. It's not as scary as it seems, and with a few steps we can get your system back to normal. This guide will walk you through banishing the BSOD caused by CrowdStrike. We'll cover everything you need to know, step by step, so you won't feel lost. We'll be uninstalling, cleaning up, and reinstalling CrowdStrike. This process ensures that any corrupted files or settings are completely removed. Think of it as giving your computer's bodyguard a quick refresh. It's like hitting the reset button on its training, making sure it's ready to protect you without causing any more issues. Let's get this show on the road. By the end of this, your computer will be running smoothly, and you'll be back to gaming or working without any interruptions. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, there are a couple of things you need to make sure you have admin rights and access to safe mode. These two elements are crucial for the tasks we are about to undertake. Admin rights are like having the master key to your computer. They let you make big changes, like installing or uninstalling programs. Exactly what we need to do with CrowdStrike. Without these rights, you won't be able to make the necessary adjustments to your system. Safe mode is like your computer's safe space. It boots up Windows with only the bare essentials, which helps us troubleshoot problems without interference from other programs. This mode is particularly useful when dealing with stubborn software issues or malware that prevents normal operation. To get into safe mode, you'll need to interrupt your computer's normal boot process. This is usually done by repeatedly pressing F8 or Shift plus F8 as your computer starts up. Timing is key here, so be prepared to try a few times if it doesn't work on the first go. Your computer might have a different key, so check your manufacturer's website if those don't work. Different brands sometimes use different keys like F2, F10, or even the EC key. It's always a good idea to consult your computer's manual or the manufacturer's support page for specific instructions. Got those two? Great. Let's boot into safe mode. Once you're in, you'll have a much easier time diagnosing and fixing any issues that might be plaguing your system. This is the first step towards ensuring your computer runs smoothly and securely. Alright, booting into safe mode can be a bit like entering the Matrix. Things will look different, all old school and minimalistic, but don't worry, it's all part of the plan. Once you're in safe mode, you'll likely see safe mode in the corners of your screen. This confirms you're in the right place. Why are we doing this in safe mode, you ask? Well, remember how I said CrowdStrike could be causing the BSOD? Safe mode prevents it from loading, giving us a clean slate to work with. It's like sneaking past the bodyguard while they're asleep. Now let's move on to the next step, uninstalling CrowdStrike. Don't worry, this isn't goodbye forever. We're just giving CrowdStrike a temporary timeout while we fix things up. Uninstalling in safe mode is exactly the same as uninstalling in normal mode. Go to your control panel, find CrowdStrike in the list of programs and hit that uninstall button. Follow the on-screen instructions and boom, CrowdStrike is gone. Well, almost. There might be some leftover files lurking around, which is where our next step comes in. Registry cleaning. Time to break out the cleaning supplies. Section 5. Registry cleaning out with the leftovers. Think of your computer's registry like a massive library. Every program you install leaves its mark there, and sometimes, when you uninstall a program, it leaves behind some unwanted bookmarks. That's where a registry cleaner comes in handy. Now, I'm not talking about using some shady registry cleaner you found on a random website. Stick to the reputable ones like CC Cleaner. These programs are like librarians, carefully removing those leftover bookmarks without messing up the entire library. Download, install, and run a scan with your chosen registry cleaner. Once it's done, let it clean up those leftovers. Think of it as giving your computer's registry a nice, satisfying dust. With the registry all cleaned up, it's time to reboot. Section 6. Reboot and reassess. A fresh start. Time to bring your computer back from safe mode. Hit that restart button and let it boot up normally. Once you're back in, take a moment to appreciate the lack of a BSOD. Hopefully those pesky blue screens are gone for good, but before we celebrate, we need to reinstall CrowdStrike. Remember, we uninstalled it earlier to give ourselves a clean slate. Now it's time to bring back our digital bodyguard. Let's get CrowdStrike back on duty. Section 7. CrowdStrike's comeback reinstallation time. Head over to the CrowdStrike website and download the latest version of their software. Make sure you're downloading the right version for your operating system, like Windows 10 or Windows 11. Once the download's done, run the installer and follow the on-screen instructions. It's pretty straightforward, just like installing any other program. After the installation's complete, CrowdStrike will likely run a scan to ensure everything's up to date. Let it do its thing, and then, fingers crossed, you should be good to go. But wait, what if the BSOD is still there? Don't worry, we've got some troubleshooting tips up our sleeve. Section 8. Troubleshooting tricks. When things get sticky. So, you've followed all the steps and yet the BSOD persists. That's frustrating, I know. The blue screen of death, or BSOD, can be one of the most exasperating issues to deal with on a computer. It often appears out of nowhere, disrupting your work and leaving you staring at a screen full of cryptic error messages. But don't give up hope just yet. There are still several strategies you can employ to get your system back on track. Here are a few things you can try. Check for conflicting programs. Software conflicts are a common cause of BSODs. When two programs try to use the same resources or interfere with each other, it can lead to system instability. Sometimes other security programs can clash with CrowdStrike, leading to conflicts and, you guessed it, BSODs. This is especially true if you have multiple antivirus or anti-malware programs running simultaneously. Try temporarily disabling other antivirus or anti-malware software you have running. This can help you identify if one of these programs is causing the issue. If the BSOD stops occurring, you may need to choose one security program to use and uninstall the others. Update your drivers. Outdated or corrupted drivers are a common culprit for BSODs. Drivers are essential for your hardware to communicate properly with your operating system, and if they're not up to date, they can cause serious problems. Head over to your computer manufacturer's website and download the latest drivers for your motherboard, graphics card, and any other essential hardware. Make sure to follow the installation instructions carefully to avoid any issues. Run a system file checker. This tool can help you identify and repair corrupted system files that might be causing the BSOD. Windows has a built-in tool called System File Checker, or SFC, that can scan for and repair corrupted system files. To use it, open Command Prompt as an administrator and run the command sfc/scano. This process might take some time, but it's worth it if it can fix the issue. Open Command Prompt as an administrator and run the command sfc/scanout to give it a shot. Contact CrowdStrike support. If you've tried all these steps and the BSOD still persists, it might be time to reach out for professional help. If all else fails, it's time to call in the big guns. CrowdStrike has a dedicated support team that can assist you with more complex issues. CrowdStrike has its own support team that can help you troubleshoot specific issues. They have extensive experience and might have encountered your problem before, which means they could have a solution ready to go. They might have encountered your problem before and have a solution ready to go. Don't hesitate to reach out to them for assistance. Remember, troubleshooting can be a process of trial and error, but with patience and persistence, you can often find a solution. Section 9. When in doubt, call the pros. Listen, I get it. Troubleshooting computer problems can be about as fun as watching paint dry. If you've tried everything and the BSOD is still haunting your dreams, don't be afraid to seek professional help. A qualified computer technician can diagnose the issue, determine if it's truly CrowdStrike related, and recommend the best course of action. Think of it as an investment in your sanity. Remember, there's no shame in asking for help. Section 10. The wrap-up, blue screen. Blues be gone. So there you have it, a step-by-step guide to banishing those pesky CrowdStrike-induced BSODs. We've covered everything from booting into safe mode to registry cleaning to troubleshooting tips. Remember, a little patience and persistence can go a long way when it comes to fixing computer issues, and if all else fails, those tech wizards are just a phone call away. Now go forth and conquer those BSODs. Section 11. Disclaimer. proceed with caution. Hold your horses. Before you dive headfirst into these steps, remember that messing with your computer's software and registry can be risky business. Always back up your important data before making any major changes. And if you're not comfortable with any of these steps, don't hesitate to seek professional help. This guide is provided as is, without warranty of any kind, express or implied. Use at your own risk.